Yo. 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 Yeah. Yo. Yosef ben Matityahu, the priest with the pen. Yosef ben Matityahu, the line of the priests and men. Born in the city of the temple in the reign of Gaius Caesar. Mother of the Hasmonean line of royal blood, my measure. Father of the course of Jehoiarib, the first of the 4 and 20. Trained in the law before the beer, before the war was plenty. Tested the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the Essenes. Tested the desert hermit banished where the river ran clean. 3 years in the cave on the diet of the trees. 3 years on the rocks to learn what the wisdom sees. Came back at the 19 and the law was on my chest. Came back at the 19 and the priesthood was the test. You are listening to a kohen of the temple of the Lord. You are listening to a man whose forefathers held the sword and the censer and the scroll and the office of the line. This my opening, I tell you who I am before the sign.
Yosef ben Matityahu,
I am the
priest of the city Jerusalem.
I am the
Of the antiquity of nations.
I am the
Priest.
Sent to Rome at the 26th to plead a brother case. Saw the empire, saw the marble, saw the wolf upon the face. Came back to a homeland that was burning at the seam. Galilee gave me the command at 30 in the dream. General of the north and the war was in the land. Vespasian and Titus and the legions in command. Jotapata fell after 40 days and 40 nights. 40 into the cave and we agreed to take our lives. Locks fell on the locks fell on the bone. I survived by the lock or the providence alone. Brought before the general, I told him what I saw. You will be the emperor, your son will hold the law. He laughed, I told him plain, you will see it come to pass. 2 years later it came and he remembered who I was. Took me into the household of the Flavian regime. Took the name they gave me, but I never lost the dream.
Yosef ben Matityahu,
I am the
priest of the city Jerusalem.
I am the
Of the antiquity of nations.
I am the
Priest.
Yeah, in the second of Vespasian, the temple burned the sky. In the second of Vespasian, the temple burned and I survived to tell you why. The vessels in the altar in the holy of the place. The records of my fathers in the ship kind of the face. All of it the fire, all of it the hand of Rome. All of it the catastrophe, the loss of every home. And I'm writing in the language of the empire that destroyed us. And I'm writing what the Greeks have never read about us. 20 books, I owe you 20 books across 5,000 years. Creation to the war and every name the lawgiver hears. Moses wrote the Chaldeans, Manetho wrote the Egyptians. Hiron and messed the Phoenicians, Hesiod and his predictions. Where is the antiquity of Hebrews? Where the priestly source? Where the records of the temple of the line of Aaron's force? We will read it from a kohen who survived to keep the page. This my charge against forgetting, this my plan against the rage.
Kohen in the Hebrew means the one who serves the throne. Kohen is the office of the line that stands alone. Not a scribe, a witness with the records in his hand. Not a poet, but a priest who has authority to stand. Aaron was the first and Eleazar took the rod. Finney used the zealot, then the line beneath the knot. And the line was 24 in Jehoiarib the first. And I got from Jehoiarib.
So you trust me with the verse.
I am Yosef ben Matityahu,
And the priest line is my crest.
I am the kohen of the temple.
Though the temple is at rest,
I am the witness of the burning.
and the records I have pressed,
I am the writer for the Greeks who
have not read what we confessed.
I am the survivor of the cave and the Roman swords that bless. I am the keeper of the antiquity, the priestly line addressed. I am the voice across the centuries, the lawgiver expressed. And I bowed my head and wrote the antiquity manifest. 20 books across 5,000 years.
The spine of all I trust. Priest. beginning. In the beginning, the heaven and the earth were laid. In the beginning, the darkness on the surface stayed. A wind moved over the deep before the morning came. God spoke into the void and gave the light a name. He saw the whole mass and split it clean apart. Called the one of them night, called the other one day. Evening and morning, the first day. On the page, Moses called it one day.
I will tell you why.
Not now, though I will save it for the treat is made. Hold the question till I write the second piece of raid.
Day 2.
He set the heaven over all the world. Crystalline firmament, the sphere around it curled, fitted for the moisture
And the rain and dew.
Day 3, the dry land rose the sea.
Around it too.
Plants and seeds bursting up the same day from the ground.
Out of nothing into something, every kind around.
6 days of labor and the 7 got the
Rest.
That is what we call the Shabbat in our tongue.
Rest. He looked upon the work and gave the 7. Rest.
Rest, 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 rest.
Rest, 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 rest.
Rest, rest.
Day 4, he adorned the heaven with the sun. Set the moon and stars to mark the seasons, everyone. Vicissitudes of time, the course is laid in flame. Light from a light, the lesser and the greater frame.
Day 5, the living creature swam below and flew. Sorted them for procreation, kinds increased to 2. Male and female, so for multiplying through society and mixed to every species coming new. Day 6, the 4-footed beast upon the ground.
Same day he formed
Man, the crown of all around.
6 days the world and all that fills the world was made.
Moses does a plain, the order in the trade. 7th day of rest, the release from labor press. We celebrate the Shabbat, call it after bloody blessed. For the word denotes the rest in our Hebrew tongue.
And the priests have kept the day since Moses was among.
6 days of labor and the 7's got the
Rest.
That is what we call the Shabbat in our tongue.
Rest. He looked upon the work and gave the 7. Rest.
Rest, 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 rest.
Rest, rest, rest,
Rest, rest, rest.
Hesiod will tell you that the chaos came before. Hesiod will tell you that the gods came from the floor.
Out of darkness, God's emerging. Out of God's the world. Out of God's the elements, the heaven and the curl. But the lawgiver of Hebrews tells a different page. God before the chaos, God before the stage. Not a God from out of darkness, but the maker of the dark. Not a God from out of water, but the speaker to the spark. Plato will describe a craftsmanship and what he found. Found the matter ready and the maker just the ground. But the Hebrew has the matter and the maker is the one. Speaks the matter and the being, then the labor is begun. Stoic eternal cycle that the Curian Adam reign.
Hesiod and Plato
Cannot match the prophet's frame.
Bereshit the first.
The heaven and the earth were laid.
This my opening to greet.
Read what the prophet made.
Shabbat in the Hebrew means a cease and a release. Shabbat is the 7th and the labor at its peace. Not a void of fullness when the work is at its end. Not a death, a doorway where the maker and the friend sit together in the cool of what the hand has done. Sit together in the cool of what the breath has spun. Shabbat is the signature he left upon the 7. Shabbat is the bridge between the labor and the heaven.
And the work was finished and the 7th day was blessed. And the wind that moved the deep was settled in its rest. And the dry land and the sea and every kind expressed. And the beasts of every foot and every wing addressed.
And the man, the final breath, the crown of all impressed. And the woman not yet given, still inside his chest.
In the Shabbat, the release, the labor laid to rest.
And I bowed my head and wrote the 7th day was blessed. This my opening, the spine
Of every page progress. Rest, 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 rest,
rest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. After the 7th day was over and the labor was at rest, Moses turned philosophical, the deeper the test concerning the formation of the man. The lawgiver said, God took dust from out the ground and shaped them from the bed of red earth compounded, and the virgin of the soil, the truest of the substance and the first fruit of the toil. Inserted in him spirit, inserted soul inside, body, spirit, soul, the threefold of the bride of dust. The lawgiver said, and the maker pressed it whole. Tripartite, the philosopher, the body, spirit, soul. This is what the priest will tell you when the Greeks come asking why. We are not just flesh and not just breath beneath the sky. We are flesh and we are breath and we are spirit of the same. We are dust and we are wind and we are flame upon the frame. Adam was the name he had and Adam means the For from the red of earth compounded was the substance of his head.
Adam in the Hebrew means the from the red of earth compounded was the virgin of the soil and the substance of the
Yeah, God brought every creature to him, every kind of breath, every fowl of every wing and every beast of every step. Adam gave them names, the names by which they still are known. Primordial, the language and the labor of the throne. But Adam saw the creatures and the creatures came in pairs, male and female, every kind beneath the open airs. And Adam had no partner, and the maker saw it plain. And the man alone was missing what the others had to gain. So God laid him in the sleep, and from his side withdrew a rib bone of the body, and the substance he took true. And from the rib he formed a woman, shaped her out of him, and brought it to the man. And Adam saw her at the rim of his own bone, and his own substance recognized. This is bone of bone and flesh of flesh before his eyes. This is Issa, for in Hebrew Issa means the woman name. And Adam called her Chava, for the mother of the same.
Adam in the Hebrew means the from the red of earth compounded was the virgin of the soil and the substance of the
Yeah. Greeks have many tales of how the first man was made. Prometheus from clay and Pandora from the trade. Ezio will tell you that the woman was a curse sent down from Olympus as the punishment reversed. But the lawgiver of Hebrews tells a different story. The man was made for partnership and not for breaking heart. The woman was not punishment, the woman was the gift. The maker saw the lonely and he moved to close the rift. Not from clay alone like Prometheus with mold, not from punishment of gods like Ezio was told, but from the body of the man, the helper drawn beside, bone of his own bone and substance of the bride. This is what divides the Hebrews
from the pagan rhyme.
This the dignity the maker
Placed upon the time.
Adam was the red of earth,
and Chava was his own.
Kocha, the mother of the living of the bone.
Adam in the Hebrew means the man of red earth made. Adam of the ground from which he came and where he lay. Issa in the Hebrew is the word the woman bore. Kava, the name he gave her at the closing of the door. And Kocha, the mother of the living of the line. Every breath that follows comes from her, the maker sign. Body, spirit, soul, the threefold in the seal. This the philosophy the lawgiver came to reveal.
And the man was formed of dust and given spirit in his chest, and the soul was set within him, and the body was addressed. And the woman drawn from substance of the man before the rest. And the names were given Adam, Chava, him, Kochai expressed. And the red of earth compounded was the first fruit of the test. And the rib that left his body was the partner that he blessed. And the threefold body, spirit, soul together he confessed. And I bowed my head and wrote the formation manifest. It's the philosophy the priest will say.
The lawgiver dressed red, red, red.
Moses says further that the Lord had planted in the east a paradise of every tree, the substance of the feast. And in the midst of every tree, the lawgiver records who stood apart and bore the weight of every other word. Tree of life, the first of them, the substance of the breath. Tree of knowledge, second, standing tall above the death. Knowing good and evil was the burden of the second. Knowing life eternal was the gift the first one beckoned. Adam and the woman placed inside the garden gates, commanded to take care of every plant the Lord creates. Caretakers and the idol in the paradise of God, working in the cool of every morning where they tried. And one river ran around the whole of all the earth. Water in the garden of the maker from his birth, parted into four, the river splits for every land. For his the rivers of the paradise he planned.
One river of the garden and the four became
parted.
river parted, parted, parted.
Word first official in the name in Hebrew means the multitude. Running into India, the east, another latitude. Greeks among my readers know this river by the Ganges. Same water, different tongue, the Jagger for arranges. Second is the Frat, the river that the Hebrews call a Euphrates is the Greek tongue speaks across the wall. Frat, the dispersion of the flower of the field. Either meaning of the name the Hebrew tongue will yield to the hidden color sweetness in the narrow flow. Digleth in the Hebrew tigers when the Greeks let go. Narrow but the channel in the sweetness of the run. Third of the four heads beneath the rising of the sun. Fourth of Gion, rising from the east as Hebrews say. Greeks among my readers call this river by the Nile day. Through the land of Egypt where the mesh streams in the bank. Same river, different tongue, the geography I bring.
One river, the garden and the four became
Parted, parted,
watering the world from the maker's own.
parted.
Every land received the flow because the river parted, parted, parted.
Greeks have stories of the gardens of the gods on high. Hesper the apple grove beneath the western sky. Elysium, the field of blessed where the heroes lay. Arcadia, the pastoral, the shepherd's holiday. But the Hebrews speak of paradise to make a planet true. Not a myth, a place of geography you can pursue. Four rivers naming where the lands and tongues divide. Four rivers running out from where they make a place to bride. This is not the orchard of the titans or the fame. This is not the dream of poets reaching for a name. This the lawgiver codes and this the priest preserve. This the geography of paradise the record surface. And find the dig like Eon flowing from the source. Multitude and this precious witness in the eastern force. Every meaning of the name of doctrine in the tongue. Every river of the garden where the maker's word was sprung.
Paishan in the Hebrew means a multitude that flows. Paishan is the river that the Greeks call Ganges goes. Frat, the second river of the garden of the star. Frat, the dispersion or the flower, the dispersion of the heart. The Tigris running swift and running tight. The big lath of the swiftness in the night. Gihon arising from the east, the Nile in the Greek. Four rivers of the paradise, the names the Hebrew speak.
And the river of the garden was the source of every rest. And the river was divided and the four heads were addressed. And the Fizzen ran to India, the multitude expressed. And the Frat, the dispersion or the flower at its crest.
And the Diglas with the narrow of the channel manifest. In the Gihon Nile of Egypt where the mesh streams press.
And the four were named in Hebrew, but the Greeks have their own jest. And I bowed my head and wrote the rivers of the blessed.
This the geography, the priest will say the lawgiver dress. Parted, parted. Parted.
Now hear what the lawgiver records about the fall. All the living creatures share one tongue beneath the wall. Every creature spoken, every creature understood. Every beast and every fowl and language of the good. Listen close because this point the priest will guard with all. Animals had speech before the breaking of the law. This was Eden, it's the paradise to make oppressed. Every creature speaking and the man among the rest. Now among the speakers was the serpent in the green, living with the man and woman in the paradise serene. And the serpent watched them living, happy in the law, watched them in obedience, and the envy in them gnawed. Envy is the disposition of the creature on the ground. Envy is that they were happy where the maker placed them found. And he hatched a malicious plan against the dignity he gave. Persuaded by his envy, he resolved to make them slaves. Every creature in the garden,
Every creature
spoke. Even serpents in the Eden,
every serpent
spoke. Then the malice of the envious
one rose up and
spoke.
spoke, spoke, spoke.
He turned to the woman and he whispered in her ear, that tree to make her has the gift of life without the fear. In that tree, the knowledge of the good and of the bad. In that tree, the secret of the happiness she had. Not just happy like a creature, but happy like a god. Eat the fruit and you will see the law that you have tried was a law for keeping you below where you should be. Eat the fruit and rise above the order you can see. And the woman heard the words and weighed them in the heat. Tasted of the fruit and found the substance was sweet. Persuaded Adam also, when the man received the same, ate of what was forbidden in the world is one to shame. Then the eyes of both of them were open to the truth. Tree had sharpened understanding, sharpening the youth. Saw they were uncovered for the first time. Felt the air ashamed before each other, and they hid behind a pair of fig leaves they had gathered, and they tied them to the waist, thinking they were happier and coverings replaced. Every creature in the garden,
Every creature,
even serpents in the Eden,
every serpent,
then the malice of the envious
one rose up and
spoke.
spoke,
Yeah.
spoke.
Then the Lord came walking in the garden as before. Adam, who was used to converse, hid behind the door. And the maker called to him and asked him why he ran, why he fled the conversation that had marked him as a man. Adam made no reply, and silence was his only friend. And the maker spoke a word the priest will preserve until the end. I had determined that you both should lead a happy life, without affliction, without care, without the vex and strife. Everything that pleased you would have
Grown up of its own,
my providence without
the labor or the bone.
labor would have brought you old age, death not far away. But you abused my goodwill, now you face another day. Silence is not virtue, silence is the evil sign. Silence shows your conscience knows the breaking of the line. This the speech the priest records the maker
Spoke that hour,
not a curse, a sorrow.
the breaking of the flower. Nakash in the Hebrew is the serpent of the start. Nakash is the speaker of the envy in the heart. Not a shape, a creature with a tongue and with a foot, walking like the others till the maker took the root, took the speech and took the feet and put the poison in. Made him roll along the ground, an enemy of men. Strike him at the head, the priest will say the maker said, for the head is where the malice of the envious is bred.
And the serpent that had spoken was a tongueless thing oppressed, and the feet that walked the garden were dissolved out of the rest. And the poison that was hidden underneath the tongue addressed, and the rolling on the ground was now the curse he had confessed.
And the man and woman driven from the paradise expressed, and the labor of the soil was now the burden manifest. And the pain of bringing children was the woman's heavy test. And I bowed my head and wrote the breaking of the blessed.
This the fall the priest will say the maker had redressed.
Spoke, 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 spoke.
Yeah, Adam and Eve had children when the garden was behind. First was Cain the elder, son the second of the kind. Was Abel and his sisters that the lawgiver records. Daughters too were given, though we know them not by words. Cain, the name in Hebrew, means a thing of possession. Abel was the sorrow that would come in this possession. Names that fit them both before their lives had run their course. Names the priest will say were prophecies from the source. Brothers chose to beneath the open sky. One was Abel, righteous lover of the maker's eye, believing God was present in his every moving act. Excelled in virtue, tended sheep and held the law intact. Cain was very wicked in his nature and his way. Holy bent on getting was the verb that fit the day. First contrived to plow the ground and force what grew below. Inventor of the labor that the priest will call the foe.
Cain the elder brother was the one with all the forcing of the ground and never resting in the possession was his hunger, and his name was called the
Came the time the brothers brought the offering to God. Came the fruits of plow and Abel, first fruits of the rod of a shepherd's care, the milk and lambs, the firstborn of the flock. Brought before the maker offerings, each at their own rock. And the maker was delighted with the firstborn of the fold. Honor with what grew up of its own accord like gold. Not the invention of a covetous and grasping man. Not the forcing of the ground against the natural plan. This is what the priest records, the doctrine of the choice. What grows freely pleases more than what the plow is voiced. Cain was very angry that his brother was preferred, and he hid the rage inside until the murder was incurred. Slew his brother in the field and hid the body deep, thinking he could hide it from the maker who does keep watch upon the conversing of the brothers at all times. And the maker came to Cain and asked him what he hides.
Cain the elder brother was the one with all the forcing of the ground and never resting in the possession was his hunger, and his name was called the
Where is Abel? With a brother that I saw in conversation. Where the one I watched beside you in the days of consecration. Cain was at a loss and gave a doubt as his reply. At first he said he did not know that Abel had gone by. Pressed by God who would not let the matter rest at all. Cain replied, I am not guardian of the brother in the fall. Not a keeper, not observer of the actions of the man. Not my place to know the goings of the one before the plan. But the maker had convicted him and spoke the words away. I do wonder that you know not what became of him and fate. A man that you have destroyed yourself, the priest will say he spoke. Not destruction for the killer, but the supplication broke through the wrath because of sacrifice and offering the plea. God did not inflict the death, the offering set him free. Made him cursed instead and threatened 7 generations. Cast him with his wife into the wandering of nations.
Cain, the elder brother, was the one with all the forcing of the ground and never resting in the possession was his hunger and his name was called a Cain, and the Hebrew means a thing that one possesses. Cain was the elder son, the one with all excesses. Hevel in the Hebrew is a breath of vapor short. Hevel is the sorrow and the brevity of the sport of the lifespan that was cut before its proper measure. Names that prophesied the brothers and the bitter treasure. Possession was the elder and the sorrow was the young, and the priest records the meaning of the names upon the tongue. Cain, the elder brother, was the one with all the forcing of the ground and never resting in the possession was his hunger and his name was called a
Or the brothers was the one the curse impressed. And the younger or the brothers was the lamb the maker blessed. And the offering of flowers, not the offering addressed. And the offering the shepherd was the substance he confessed. And the murder in the field was where the rage of Cain expressed. And the supplication after kept the killer from the rest. And the 7 generations was the threat the priest professed. And I bowed my head and wrote the brothers in the test. This the fracture side, the priest will say the maker had redressed. Get it, 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 get it. Yeah. Cain went out from where the maker placed the seal and mark. Took his wife and traveled many countries through the dark. Did not take the punishment for amendment of the heart. Took it as a license, made his wickedness an art. Aimed at every pleasure of the body and the flesh. Even when it forced him to be cruel to neighbors fresh. Augmented all his household substance through the rapine hand. Wealth from violence and the spoils of every band. Excited his acquaintance to procure the pleasures wrong. Spoils through robbery, the doctrine that he taught the throng. Became a leader, teaching men the wicked course is long. First of all, the corruptors and the captain of the song. All the broken and the grasping in the season of the field. This the priest records the change that simple men would yield. Innocent and generous before the first of every art. Then the world was changed and Cain and played the cunning part.
craftiness.
Became a leader of the change of the world too.
Craftiness.
Author of the measures, weights, and boundaries of
craftiness. Craftiness. Wickedness installed and innocence replaced by craftiness. Craftiness.
Author of the measures and the weights against the man. Setting up the rules of trade so he could rig the plan. Setting boundaries about the lands, the first of any walls. First to fortify a city, raised behind the cause of his family. Compelled to gather at the Canaanite gate. Built the city up and named it Enoch on the slate. After his own eldest son, the dedication wrong. Kanok in the Hebrew is the dedicated long. Dedicated city was the irony, the priest of text. Dedicated not to maker but to murderers' effects. This was where the simple way of innocence was lost. This was where the trade and reckoning had set their costs. Whereas they had lived in generous unmeasured before, now the world was meted, counted way beneath the door of the Canaanite house, and Cain had taught them how to scheme. Changed the world into the cunning craftiness of dream.
Craftiness.
Cain the leader of the change of the world too.
Craftiness.
measures, weights, and boundaries of
craftiness. Wickedness installed and innocence replaced by craftiness.
Yeah, Jerry was the son of Enoch, line of Cain unfurled. Malaliel and Methuselah carried on the world. Lamech was the seventh from the killer of the field. Married twice to Scylla and to Ada in the yield. 77 children given to his name. Jubal, son of Ada, loved the shepherd's tender frame. Jubal, also son of Ada, master of the music known. Invented the psaltery, the harp, the resonating tone. Jubal, son of Scylla, mighty in the martial test. First of all, to forge the brass, the metals of the rest. Nama was the daughter of the lion of the sea. Lamech had the prophet Zion, saw the coming creed. Knew the curse for Cain would fall upon his line in time. Told his wives the punishment would surface for the crime. Skillful in the revelation of the Maker's pen. Knew the seventh generation was the line that would descend.
Kanoch in the Hebrew means the one who is initiated. Kanoch is dedication and the founding consecrated. But the Canaanite city name for him reversed the holy mark. Dedicated to the murderer, the killer in the dark. Walls and weights and measures and the boundaries of land. First the simple generous and then the metered hand. Cain inverted everything, the priest records the move. Cunning craftiness, the doctrine of the world he could not soothe.
Then the simple generous of innocence was now suppressed.
And the measures and the weights
When now the trade address,
and the boundaries of land.
when now the borders of the rest,
And the city built of walls
was now the apparatus pressed.
and the dedication offered
To the killer was professed.
and the prophet line of Lamech
Saw the curse and stood confessed.
and the 70 and 7
Of his children were expressed.
and I bowed my head.
And wrote the cunning manifest.
It's the craftiness, the priest will say the world had been redressed. Craftiness, 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 craftiness.
Yeah. Let's go. Adam was the first the Maker took from out the ground. After Abel slain and Cain departed to the bound. Adam wanted children and the desire was very great. 230 years he reached the age and held the gate. After this another 700 more he lived. Then he died in fullness of the days the Maker give. Many other children of the line of priests records, but the line worth following is Seth among the words. Now this Seth, when he was brought up, came to years, when he could discern the good from evil through the tears, became a virtuous man of excellent and noble part. Left behind him children who would imitate the heart. All of them proved good at disposition and design. Lived together in one country without dissensions line. Happy in their days and dying without misfortune sent. Opposite the Canaanites in the way their lifetime went.
Stone pillar
In the land of Syria still
remains.
wisdom of the Sethites that the priest declares. Carved against the destructions in the monument.
Remains.
Sethites had a wisdom in the wisdom of the high. Heavenly bodies in the order of the sky. Inventors of astronomy, the science of the stars. Mapping out the courses and the seasons and their bars. Cain had given measures of the ground beneath the foot. Seth had given measures of the heavens past the root. One was facing downward to the soil and to the game. One was facing upward to the firmament and rain. Adam had a prophecy he gave to his descent. Twice the world would be destroyed, the Maker had it meant. Once by force of fire and the burning of the oil. Once by violence and quantity of waters in the fall. Sethites heard the warning and they planned for both at once. How to keep the wisdom that the heavens have pronounced. So they raised two pillars, one a brick and one a stone. Carved their discoveries, it's proud against the throne.
Stone pillar
In the land of Syria still
remains.
wisdom of the Sethites that the priest declares. Carved against the destructions in the monument.
Remains.
Brick would last against the fire if the burning burning came along. Stone would last against the flood and stand against the cone of the rising waters that would drown the brick away. But the stone would stay and witness to the wisdom of the day. Both describe what the Sethites learned about the sky. Both describe measurements that men cannot deny. And the stone pillar in the land of Syria, it still stands. This the priest records remains to this day in eastern lands. Through the lands and through the records of the elders of the east. Stone pillar of the Sethites still remains for every priest to behold the Antediluvian wisdom carved in stone. Long before the flood, when men were learned of the throne. Greeks may laugh, but here the evidence is hewn and set. Antiquity of Hebrews older than the Greek will let. Older than the Egyptian, then the Chaldean, then the gem. Of the chronologies the pagans hold against the stem.
Shed in the Hebrew is the one appointed of the line. Shed means he was set in place, the substance of the sign. After Abel's death, the Maker gave another seed. Eve declared him Shet because the Lord had filled the need. Sons of Shet were virtuous astronomers, a star, wisdom of the heavens and the order from afar. Two pillars they erected to preserve the science known. Brick against the fire, stone against the flood is shown. In the line of Seth,
And the line of Seth, the virtuous of innocence expressed.
and the wisdom of the heavens to the subject was addressed.
And the prophecy of Adam of the two destructions pressed.
And the brick against the burning was the first one manifest.
And the stone against the waters was the second one professed.
And the inscriptions of the science to the future were confessed.
And the pillar still in Syria as the centuries impressed.
And I bowed my head and wrote the monument in test.
This the wisdom that survived, the priest will say redressed.
Remains, remains, remains.
Yeah. Now the line of Seth was holy 7 generations long. Held the virtue, held the Maker as the Lord of every song. Esteemed him as the master of the universe and frame. Held the practice of the fathers in the honor of the name. But in process of the time they were perverted in the heart. Forsook the practice of the elders in the holy of the art. What the zeal had been for virtue in the days of holy bone. Now the zeal was double to the wickedness alone. Double measure of the evil for the measure of the good. Reversal of the line and they became what they withstood. Then the angels of the Maker came among the daughters fair. Many angels saw the women and descended to the air. Took them in the manner of the husband to the wife. Begat sons whose unjust nature would not yield to any life. Despisers of the good and trusting only in their might. Confident in strength alone, the priest records the blight.
Tradition tells the offspring of the angels were the
Giants,
Greeks. Among my readers know the title for the
giants,
Hebrews have the Nephilim, the Greeks have called them
giants.
giants.
This the tradition, Greek and Hebrew both preserve what the Grecians call the giants by the name they serve. Sons of unjust angels by the daughters of the line of corrupted Sethites, once the holy of the sign. Hesiod will tell you of the giants of his pen. Sons of earth and sky in war against the gods again. But the lawgiver of Hebrews tells a deeper origin. Sons of fallen angels by the women in the sin. Same description in the substance, different telling yet. Greeks remember half the truth, the priests will not forget. Hebrews keep the fuller telling angels from above. Mating with the mortals and the offspring without love. Despisers of the good, despisers of the holy way. Confidence and strength was all the warrior clan would say. Mighty in the body, weak in every other test. This the cause the world below was overthrown and pressed.
Tradition tells the offspring of the angels were the
Giants,
Greeks. Among my readers know the title for the
giants,
Hebrews have the Nephilim, the Greeks have called them
giants.
giants.
Now there was a man named Noah in the corrupted age. 10th from Adam and the only one who held the page. Saw the wickedness of every man around the door. Saw the giants and their fathers in the wars of war. Was uneasy at the conduct of the men around him there. Tried to persuade them to amendment of the way they swear. Spoke to them of better dispositions and a better deed. Tried to turn them from the slavery to pleasure and the greed. but they did not yield. They were the slaves of their delight, slaves to wicked pleasures and the appetites of night. No act swore they would not change, and feared they would conspire till the man, his wife and children, family that he sighed, and his sons and married women of the corrupted line. So the prophet of the maker took his household in the sign, departed from the land of giants, left them to their hour, saved his family from the threat. The priest records the power.
Benai ha-Elohim, in the Hebrew is the sons of God above. Benai ha-Elohim are the angels who descended out of love, took the daughters of the Sephites and produced the warrior breed. Nephilim, the Hebrews call the offspring of the seed. Nephilim, the fallen ones the Greeks have called the giants. Same the substance, same the strength, the same. Defying clients, Hebrew tradition deeper than the Grecian myth could see. This the priest records the truth that I have set you free.
And the line of Seth was holy
For the 7 generations
and the perversion came in process,
and the doubled wickedness expressed.
and the angels of the maker
Took the daughters and addressed
and the Nephilim were giants,
what the Greeks themselves confessed.
and the offspring were despisers,
Of the good the priest professed,
and the strength alone was confidence,
the giants manifest.
and the prophet Noah.
Saved his household from the test.
And I bowed my head and wrote the corruption that progressed. It's the breaking of the Sethites. The priest will say redress.
Giants, giants, giants.
Giants. Giants. Giants. Yeah. Yeah. Now the maker love his no act for the righteousness he held. Loved him while the wickedness around him at the world rebelled. Determined in the heart of God to wipe the line away. Make another race, the priest records that day. Built from wickedness, the new beginning of the breed. Cut the lifespan of the giants for the corrupted seed. 120 years was now the limit of their span. What had been 1,000 now reduced beneath the hand of the maker's wrath against the offspring of the angels gone. Turn the dry land into sea, the waters carried on. Every man I know I would be lost beneath the tide. Only Noah and his household would be saved aside. But the maker gave him warning, gave him substance, gave him plans. Saved the kinds and saved the household of the righteous man. Build a vessel of the wood that floats above the storm. This the priest records the saving of the human form.
300 long and 50 wide,
Cubits,
30 high, and for the story.
cubits,
Ark and Noah measured out by holy.
cubits. For the stories high, the priest records the maker's word. 300 cubits long, the vessel where the kinds were heard. 50 cubits broad and 30 cubits to the roof. Braced with cross beams, strong against the waters as the proof. Could not be drowned, could not be overborne by the violence or the rising flood. The engineering was the silence of the prophet building under mocking of the men who refused to hear the priest of righteousness back then. No into with his wife and sons their wives. Ate the souls upon the vessel for the saving of the lives. Brought the living creatures pairs, the male and his female, for the preservation of the kinds. The priest records the tale of them by the sevens for the sacrifice ahead. And the maker shut the door, and Noah was the head of the household, and the kinds the only ones to ride. This the ark, the priest records the saving of the tide.
300 long and 50 wide,
Cubits,
30 high, and for the story.
cubits,
Ark and Noah measured out by holy.
cubits. 600 year in Noah was the year the flood began. Second month called Dias by the Macedonian plan. Hebrews call it Markeshvan in the autumn of the year. Civil year began in autumn, so the records would be clear. But the Moses lawgiver assigning Nisan as the first for the festivals because of how the Egypt bondage burst. Nisan is the Xanthic, it's the Macedonian, it spread. Same month, different naming for the Hebrew priest instead. 17th day of the second month, 1656. From the days of Adam to the day to make it turn to bricks. Noah turned from Adam, Lamech, Sodom with the breath. Methuselah, grandfather of all the patriarchs of death. Enoch did not die, the lawgiver did not write his rest. Walked with God and went to heaven at the Maker's quest. Jared, Malaliel, Cain, and Enoch shall preserve the line. Through the 10th Noach, the household in the kinds of line.
Noach in the Hebrew is a name that means the rest. Noach was the comfort that the priest declared the test. Lamech named his son for the relief that he would bring from the curse upon the ground, the toil of every spring. Noach was the rest that broke the corrupted line. Noach was the maker's love against the giant sign. 300 cubits for the story's vessel of the rest. It's the ark, the priest records the saving of the blessed.
And the love of God for Noach was the righteousness expressed.
And the lifespan of the giants was reduced and now compressed.
And the dry land turned to sea,
the waters now addressed.
and the cubits of the vessel
Where the measure manifests. And the pairs and sevens entered as the priest professed. And the calendar of Dias and the Markish may confess. And the 10th from Adam Noach held the household blessed. And I bowed my head and wrote the building up the test.
It's the ark, the priest will say the Maker had impressed. Cubits. Cubits. Yeah. Then the Maker gave the signal and the rain began to fall. 40 entire days the water poured upon the wall of the earth, the rising surge, 15 cubits up above, higher than the mountains, higher than the highlands of love. And the reason none survived beside the 8 upon the boat was the lack of any place to flee or any land afloat. Land had turned to sea, the priest records the saving few. Only those inside the vessel passed the deluge through. Underneath the wood the water surged at every side. In the ark of Noach held against the violence of the tide. Crossed beams in the bracing kept the structure firm intact. And the family of 8 was preserved against the wrath compact. While outside the world was drowning, every breath and every bone. Inside Noach in his household waited at the throne of the Maker who had loved them while the wickedness was lost. And the priest records the salvation of the holy cause.
Mountain in the land of Armenia, the
Descent.
place the Armenians call the holy, where the ark of Noach rested at the holy.
After 150 days the waters had begun to ease. 17 days, 7 months the priest records the seas just began to fall. The abatement of the surge below, cessation for a little while, the Maker letting go. Then the ark of Noach rested on a mountain in the east, Armenia, the land where elders kept the holy feast of the records of the saving of the household and the kind. Noach opened up the vessel, saw the dry land that he finds, saw a small portion of the dry land peeking through the gray. Continued quiet hope the deliverance would come his way. Cheerful hopes inside the prophet at the saving of the deep. Maker had preserved the household and the kinds in the keep. Then he sent a raven out to scout the state of soil. Raven flew but found no place to land amid the spoil. And the waters covered everything beneath the eastern sky. And the raven came returning to the ark with empty eye.
Mountain in the land of Armenia, the
Descent.
place the Armenians call the holy, where the ark of Noach rested at the holy.
Descent, 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 descent. 7 days he waited, then he sent a dove to learn the same, where the ground was clear of water in the deluge dame. And the dove returned to him with mud upon the feather, bearing in its beak an olive branch. The saving weather of the Maker had begun. The trees were rising out the deep, olive of the holy oil, the substance trees would keep. 7 days again he waited, sent the dove a second time. This time she did not return. The priest records the sign. Then the household and the kinds went out upon the land, sacrificed unto the Maker, feasted at his hand. Now the Armenians call the place of the descent. Nakchoan in their tongue the meaning of the event. Ark was saved in that location. Ark remains shown by the people of that country to the priest, to every known. This the eyewitness the priest records, preserved across the time. Mountain of the saving of the household of the line.
Teva in the Hebrew is the word for the ark. Teva is a chest, a vessel held against the dark. Same the word the lawgiver would later use for one basket Moses placed in when the bondage had begun. Teva saves the prophet through
And the signal of the Maker brought the rain that he addressed. And the 40 days of pouring made the earth a thing suppressed. And the cubits 15 higher than the highlands manifest. And 150 days the waters held their wrath progressed. And the ark of Noah rested on the mountain blessed. And the raven and the dove the priest records expressed. And the olive branch returned the substance pressed. And I bowed my head and wrote the descent confessed. It's the saving of the household priest will say redressed. Descent. 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 Now hear me, Greeks among my readers, hear the case I make. All the writers of the barbarian histories awake mention the same flood and mention the same ark of saving wood. Not the Hebrews only, but the nations universal stood. Berosus, the Chaldean priest who wrote in Greek for you, confirms the saving of the household and the kinds of new. He describes the deluge in his own historical tongue. Says some part of the same ship in Armenia is hung on the mountain of the Chaldeans even to this day. And the people of that country carry off the bitumen away, use it as the amulet against the mischief in their lives. Pieces of the holy timber where the priest record survives. Berosus is a Chaldean priest, and Chaldeans are the wise, older than the Greeks in record keeping under desert skies. And the priest of Chaldea writes the same the Hebrew priest will write. Two priests, two traditions, same the deluge, same the light. Every nation has a witness. Every history has a witness. And the priest of every people stands as witness, 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 witness. Hieronymus the Egyptian wrote Phoenician Antiquities, mentions of the same the flood, the same the ark realities. Nacy as wrote his record from the Grecian shore, confirms the same the deluge and the saving evermore. Many, many more there are, I do not have the room to name. All the histories converge upon the same archaic frame. Greeks may laugh and Greeks may doubt, but here are Greeks confirmed. Greeks who wrote their histories and Greeks the truth affirm. Nicholas of Damascus in his 96 book pen pulls the testimony forward to the patrons of the end. Says a mountain stands in Armenia over Minya's high, called the Barris in the local tongue beneath the sky. Many who escaped the deluge fled to the same place. One who came inside an ark touched down with weathered face. Remains of timber were preserved long after he had stepped. This might be the man of whom the lawgiver had kept. Every nation has a witness. Every history has a witness. And the priest of every people stands as witness, 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 witness. This is how the priest will build a case before the Greek, not by argument alone, but by the witnesses I seek. Berosus, Chaldean, Hieronymus, Egyptian pen. Nacy is Grecian, Nicholas of Damascus to the end. Every literate civilization has the deluge in the page. Every priest of every people knows the saving of the age. Hebrews only have the fuller version, older than the rest. Hebrews only have the chronology that passes every test. Greeks remember half the story, Egypt half the saving wave. Chaldea half the dating that the elders chose to save. Half a witness to the truth that Moses wrote in full. Hebrew records older, deeper than the foreign roll. This my argument, the priest records the stacking of the case. This my charge to readers, Greek to read me with the grace of the listener who weighs the testimony as it stands. Hebrew, Chaldea, Egypt, Greek, the saving was at hand.
It's the method of the priest records the way, not by argument alone, but by the witnesses that say. Berosus pulled the Chaldean, Hieronymus the Nile, Nicholas of Damascus from the royal patron's file. Every nation has a witness, every priest a testimony, half remembered in the pagan still confirms the Hebrew story. This the way the priest will argue, this the apologetic part, stacking up the witnesses across the world and through the heart.
And the Chaldean Berosus was a witness the priest professed, and the Chaldean mountain held the bitumen confessed. And the Egyptian Hieronymus the priest had also pressed. And Nacy as of the Grecian shore the priest had likewise stressed. And Nicholas of Damascus in the 96 impressed. Of his history the Barris mountain witness manifest. And the many more the priest will not have priest will say redress.
Witness, 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 witness.
Yeah. After Noah stepped down onto land, our household saved. After sacrificing feast, the prophet feared and prayed. Fear the maker would destroy the earth again and again, drown the world by every year and end the saving men. So he offered burnt offerings, rose his voice to plead for the maker not to bring another deluge of the seed. For the survivors of the first would be a greater test, punished twice for what they did not do. The priests profess. This my argument, the prophet said, and this my charge to thee. Greater wisdom in the maker not to send another seed. For the men were innocent of what their forebears had wrought. They had only watched the deluge from inside the saving thought, and to drown them now would be more wrath than they deserve. This the prayer of Noah and the priest records the verb that the earth might never undergo the wrath away again, that the cities might be built and men live happy on the plain.
Sign a covenant the maker gave the holy
bow of God, once weapon now to lay down.
In the rainbow of the sky the priest declared the
Maker loved this man for righteousness and granted all. Said it was not he who brought the deluge to the fore, but the wickedness of those before that forced the holy hand. For Maker would not give the breath of life and then unman. What he made would be unwise to grant and then destroy. Better not to have created than to take away the joy. But the injuries they offered to my holiness and virtue forced me to the punishment the priest records the issue. I will leave off for the time to come require such judgments. The water shall no more overspread the earth in any reckonings, but abstain from shedding blood of man and keep yourselves pure. Punish those who murder, for the law of life is sure. I permit you to make use of every living thing, beast of land and fish of sea and fall upon the wing, accepting blood for in the blood the life of every kind. This the maker's covenant, the priest records the mind.
sign of covenant the maker gave the holy
bow of God, once weapon now to lay down.
In the rainbow of the sky the priest declared the
Noah lived 350 years after the deluge end. 950 total lifespan, happy to the bend. Let no man who hears me, Greeks and Romans of the new, doubt the length of life the priest records the witness through. Why so long the ancients lived? I give three reasons clear. First, because they were beloved of God and lately near, made by God himself in fresh creation of the breath. Second was their food was fitter for the keeping back of death. Third, because the virtue of their use of all that time gave them astronomical and geometrical to prime. Could not have foretold the periods of stars across the high, unless they had lived 600 years, a great year to apply. Manetho wrote Egyptian, Berosus the Chaldee, Mochus, Hestius, Hieronymus, Phoenician, Hesiod with me, Hecataeus, Hellenicus, accused the lost to the test, Ephorus and Nicolos, 1,000 years the ancients press.
In the Hebrew is the bow weapon held, is the same word for the rainbow that revealed the maker laying down his bow against the man and beast. Bow of God once aimed at us is now the sign of feast. Same the word for weapon and for arc across the sky. Hebrew sees the rainbow as the bow that he laid by. Keshet is the doctrine of the disarming of the wrath. This the priest records the covenant, the holy aftermath.
And the prophet Noah prayed against the deluge that progressed, and the maker loved the man for righteousness expressed. And the covenant was given by the bow that he addressed, and the blood was forbidden as the holy law confessed. And the ancients lived 1,000 years, the priest had stressed, and the witnesses 10 more were named, the testimony pressed. And they pressed that of the Hebrew was the bow that he impressed. Then I bowed my head and wrote the rainbow manifest. This the disarming of the wrath, the priest will say redress.